Hello there, so this is going to be a very quick video. When I was looking through my old work discs that you can actually download from the Commodore 64 games that weren't website, I actually found my first basic assembler that I had written before I was able to find a much better fully featured assembler. It's available in the temp.d64 file, which you can find in the Games That Weren't Commodore 64 website archive of all of my work discs. Now, these work discs were variously worked on when I was probably around about 12 or 13 years old. It had just been about the time when I was moving from my tape drive on my Commodore 64 to using my disk drive. So you can get the assets here from that Assets Available web link on the Games That Weren't website. Just look for Games That Weren't, Commodore 64, and then my name, Martin Piper. So loading the temp.d64 disk image, it actually takes a while to load because it's quite a large basic program, and then the basic program actually has to have a look at some data statements for reading in the mnemonics. But basically there are two files. There is the ALPA, which is the Assembly Language Programming Aid, I think it was, and then you can see here that the basic code has got a whole bunch of stuff inside it, but what I'm interested in is the actual commands. So I can see that there are commands starting at line 2110, and it's the first two characters, but it's list, load, save, change the start address, enter, run, jump, memory, and debug or dump or something like that. Anyway, so the programs that it loads look like this, but when we actually have a look at the program, when we list it in the assembler, it will show the mnemonics, which is what you want from an assembler, right? You don't want to see the hex values for each instruction, you want to see the mnemonics. Now, the assembler doesn't have labels. What it does have is line numbers, and actually this is probably one of the first programs that I created to test out the functionality of my assembler. Now you can see it's pretty simple. It stores some values in 400 and 500 in hex. It then goes into looking at the raster position on the screen and then setting or incrementing or decrementing the border color appropriately. So now I've entered the program EN, it's going to assemble it. Basically, even I didn't really know the terminology to use for this kind of program. You can see that it's connecting the lines. In other words, it's resolving the addresses to use. It's a single pass assembler, and it uses line numbers, so there's no real need to go backwards and forwards for labels. Now it's finished, I can use the monitor disassembly view in the Vice emulator, and I can see that the disassembly matches what was in the assembly program. Does the same kind of thing, and it jumps around again, so it should basically produce what looks like a raster bar for a period of time in the middle of the screen, approximately. So I didn't really use this assembler very much, to be honest, because very quickly afterwards Commodore Disk User released 6510 Plus, and that was a much better assembler than it was written in machine code, first of all, instead of BASIC, and it was much more fully featured, so I used that to develop Tusari, and I did not use this assembler at all. It's a funny story because I sent this version off, or a version very much like it, to Commodore Disk User before they published 6510 Plus, and they sent me a letter back saying no thanks but no thanks. And then the next issue, or the next issue after that one, I think it was, they published 6510 Plus, and I realized that they had a much better assembler. So thank you very much for watching these crazy videos. If you like this kind of stuff on my channel, then please do consider liking or subscribing, and that would be wicked great, fantastic. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a great day wherever you are.